Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time, and today we're going to be going over the banner unit, Bunny BULMA. She's pretty straightforward, I'm not going to lie. She's pretty straightforward. She is pretty much a straightforward built unit in many ways. She's pretty much straightforward. There's not really any way to discuss how to build her because she's only got one or two ways to be built. I will say that you can venture off into a different direction if you so choose, but I wouldn't say it's the best option to go with. So, I'm going to go ahead and go pull up Halvard's defense calculations for her, as that'll probably be one of the biggest reasons that you will want to use her is obviously, you know, if she's defensively good enough, you know. So let's go ahead and take a look at her defense calculations over here. If I can pop that up on screen. Buttons. There we go. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, at least it has the numbers right there. So basically, okay, it still just wants to be a pain in the butt. Criminy. So as you can vaguely see, her max possible defense is 2.2 million defense, which is pretty high. You know, just literally supering once, she can get up to 1 million defense, 1.1 with support. If she doubles, she'll get a 1.4, 1.5, and then if she triples, she could get almost a 2 mil or to 2.2 mil. This isn't taken into consideration of domains, off-turn rotation support. It is only taking into consideration of 40% support, and her defense links, which is not too difficult to do because it's Brainiacs and Battle Diva, and you know, STR BULMA as a link partner is the most ideal situation you can rock for this girl. So let's go ahead and go look at her actual unit, and I'll discuss her build, and you can decide for yourself how you should be building her. So Bunny BULMA has a few leaders, very few in my book. Master Roshi, Yamcha, and then Kid Goku as 200% options. I would highly suggest primarily Roshi as her primary team. The only other team I would probably suggest otherwise is probably Android 21's team, as she has a 170 to 200% leader for Peppy Gals. That would be my only suggestion, really. Let's see here. So she's a 130 Dragon Ball Saga leader. She raises attack and defense by 86% for one turn. Yes, you're reading that correctly. She raises her attack and defense by 86% per super attack. It definitely can be said that additional could be your primary focus, and I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. You can definitely go away from my build and just go full on additional. That is perfectly a viable choice. She does also seal super attacks, by the way. She has attack and defense 150, plus another additional attack and defense 186 when performing a super. She has a 50% chance to dodge built in. She then launches another attack that has a 50% chance to be a super attack. She supports Dragon Ball Saga, Earthbred Fighters, or Peppy Girls category by key +1 and attack and defense plus 50%. She also randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres when there are 2 or more Earthbred Fighters category allies on the team. Plus an additional chance of evading enemies' attack plus 10% within the same turn before the character receives an attack. So this will only apply in slot 1, basically, or if an AoE is going off. Plus an additional chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, plus 5% up to 20% with each attack evaded. So basically what you're seeing here is that she's a slot 1 dodge tank. She's got a 50% chance initially, and in slot 1 she would basically have 60% chance to dodge. And if she dodges 1 attack, it'll go up to 65. If she dodges 2, it'll go up to 70. 3, 75, and then 4, she will be at 80% damage reduction. And then mixing that with her own built-in dodge and the hidden potential system, and she's got a very good chance to dodge, basically. But as you can see, she's basically a supportive unit that can orb change and support by 50%. Her links are not going to be going off very often unless you partner her with LR BULMA. There is not very many viable BULMAs in the game. There's not very many viable units that are going to share the majority of her links, to be quite frank. All of her link partners are basically herself. You know, the int free-to-play, the tech free-to-play, and herself. I will say that Mai is a good option. My issue is I always have a problem with extreme and tech units trying to mix and intermingle together. I will say that Mai does want to focus up on having other Peppy Gals on the team. So, and Dragon Ball Saga units, both of which, you know, Bunny BULMA is a part of. But I would argue to say that Bunny BULMA is a better partner to Mai than Mai is a better partner to Bunny BULMA. That's just what my opinion would be. But otherwise, yes, they do have a very solid amount of links, and she is a very good honorable mention to be put as a best partner if you get her, if you can pull her. These are both brand new on Global. They're both banner-esque units. These are two units that are more than likely not in a lot of people's boxes, and it's why I didn't put her on the roll tips. So that is the primary reason I didn't add her, because most people probably do not have her or will not have her. So that's pretty much Bunny BULMA's kit right there. We can go over very briefly of her builds, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory in all given honesty. So taking into consideration her 55%, I would highly suggest just leaning into dodge. Alternatively, once again, she gets a lot of defense on super. I would totally understand if you want to go in with additional. I would totally get it. But primarily, because she gets a large amount of her dodge before, you know, attacking, I would probably say that her slot 1 is primarily where she wants to be at, but also floating is definitely a 100% option. I don't think she's meant to be slot 2, though. She's either meant to be dodging in slot 1 or to be being floated off in slot 3. As far as the rest of her kit goes, when you have dupes, full dodge, or additional, I would say you can flip-flop these, meaning that this would probably actually be more closer to a 17, and this would be more of like a 9 on her dodge built in. So it'd be more like a 17 additional and then a 9 dodge. But otherwise, I still 100% say that BULMA is straight up just a dodge unit. She's meant to support, she's meant to orb change, and that's pretty much it. And then as far as her leaders go, once again, Master Roshi or Android 21, I feel like those are the only viable-esque leaders you can really rock with BULMA at the current time of recording. You know, Roshi just helps out Peppy Gals a lot. And then Android 21 does have several other options for Peppy Gals as well. Partner-wise, she really doesn't have any other partners, at least not right now at the time of recording. Once again, herself, with the extra support and how solid LR BULMA still is her best partner. Her best slot position is 100% going to be in slot 1 or slot 3. Slot 2, you can put her into slot 2, but I really feel like BULMA, LR BULMA, you're going to put her in slot 2 until she gets her damage reduction built up. And then perhaps later on in the fight, you could put Bunny BULMA into slot 2. Or to even float her, depending on if you have like Roshi or whatever the better slot 1 unit is based on the phase of the fight. So, but anyways, everyone, that's going to be it for the build suggestions for LR Bunny BULMA. Do let me know if you managed to pull her. I unfortunately was not able to. But if you did pull her, what teams are you going to rock her with? What kit are you going to run? What hidden potential route are you going to go? And thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.